I had people tweeting me and texting me during the game. What is Mark Schlereth going to say now about Russell Wilson? Kudos to Mark, where he has carved out this niche as a very bright, very entertaining football analyst, but also, I guess, known by all Steelers fans as the number one Russell Wilson hater. And he was taking up some real estate in their brains while watching Russell Wilson cook last night. So he is one of the three great hosts on FS1's Breakfast Ball with my pal Danny Parkins and Craig Carton, and he joins us right now. Have you backed off the hate here, Mark? Are you looking at this still through Russell Wilson hater glasses, or do you have to give the guy props for what you saw last night?
Oh, I'll definitely throw him his flowers, and it's not. I mean, obviously, hate and the whole hater kind of mantra, if you will, or however you want to call that. Like, I just don't like the way the guy played for the last several years. Mm-hmm. And so there's no personal agenda there. I just don't like the way he plays. And I don't think he's very good. But last night, I'll have to give him his flowers. Now, of course, people in Pittsburgh in that stadium were booing him out of the stadium through the first quarter and a half until he hit the deep ball. I think it was to Pickens down the sideline. And here's the thing I've said about Russell Wilson forever. The whole let Russ cook mantra was, created by Russ and his team of people. And the bottom line is Russ isn't going to operate your offense from line of scrimmage. He's just not going to do, the Drew Brees type of running the offense, if you will. But there are some things that he does exceptionally well. And I'll give credit to Arthur Smith. I'll give credit to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll give credit to Mike Tomlin because I thought it was a huge mistake to make this move. But getting him outside the pocket, delivering the football outside the numbers, running the play pass stuff where you can throw it deep because he throws an exceptional deep ball. Like, those are all things that Russ can live and can do, and that he can thrive in doing those things with a great run game. And I look at it back, when he was successful in Seattle. They ran the snot of the football. They had a great defense, and he allowed them, and he did all the things they asked him to do, and he was exceptional in that. And last night, he did that. Now, still, you understand it. He still completed 55% of his passes, and there were some. Really
that sounds like a little poo-pooing there, though, Mark. That sounds like now you're bringing up some negative things from last night.
Did he play? Was he exceptional, or did the receivers make a bunch of great catches?
Was it a good idea to get the ball to the playmakers and allow for them to make?
Absolutely. Do you know that not one ball was delivered in the middle of the football field?
Yeah, we checked that out. We checked that out on him.
Yeah, that is smart. Like, there wasn't even an attempt. And those are the things, like, that to me is smart coaching. That to me is knowing exactly what that player is, exactly what that player can do. And he did an exceptional job of that. Russ did an exceptional job of that. The offense coordinator, Arthur Smith, did a really good job of that. These are things for the last 2 years that just didn't seem to happen in Denver. Like, there was no, and I live in Denver. I watched it. I watched every play. I broke down every play. It was bad. And some of that you have to put on Sean Payton for not being able to convince him or get through to him or put him in a position to do those things. So, but it was really bad the last couple of years, and last night was good. Like, last night was it was actually fun to watch him actually have some success.
Implicit, though, and I feel like Mark, in saying he can't really go to the middle of the field, is sort of the idea that this might not have sustainable legs here for Wilson, because eventually teams will shut off the things he likes to do, and then you're left with, well, then what?
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see. As long as they continue to run the football and have the quick passing game out there, and the play pass stuff. I think I've said this a million times before. There are very few people that throw the ball down the football field better than Russell Wilson does. I mean, he has got that part of his game is exceptional, like his ability to throw the deep ball, and you saw that again last night. So that part was really good. And again, like, listen, man, I've watched this thing, and I probably have talked to way too many people, way too many coordinators, way too many people over the course of his career, both in Seattle and in Denver. And then witnessed it and watched it and broke it all down. And again, it's one game. Like I'm not sitting here going, oh, he's back on this Hall of Fame trajectory because he went and he played well in one game and he threw the ball well in one game. I'd like to see this consistently over the rest of this season, and we'll see exactly what it becomes. But yeah, last night he was good, and it was actually fun to watch the Steelers put up points. And as long as that game plan can be adhered to, because the Steelers are going to play great defense. I mean, you know that for a fact. As long as they can run the football and operate that way, then they're going to be formidable. They're going to be a tough team to beat.
Mark Schlereth with us. Mark, how about some of the things I think you've also dinged him for, like you brought up his team coming up with the let Russ cook thing, his personality. He's out there last night. He's singing the praises of Justin Fields. He's sounding very polished in his answers about putting the team first and everything else. Do you think it's possible that Russell Wilson now, through all this strife in Denver, has turned over a new leaf in that regard as well, that we're getting a reformed Russell Wilson here?
I would hope so. I would hope so. I don't know. I mean, you talk to the guys who play with him, and, they all say the same. Like, he's quirky, he's whatever. But, my biggest thing for him, and I've had him in a meeting where he has said in the paper, like, hey, man, I've got to play better. And I sat down with him and asked him 3 times, well, give me some specifics of things you have to do better. Well, we've got to score in the red zone. Dude, that's not what I asked you. That's not what do you have to do better? Well, as an offense, that's not what I asked you. What do you, he can't answer that stuff. And, we used to call it in Denver toxic positivity. It's so positive. There's nothing, and personally, those are the things that you look at, and I think things that wear on an organization over time. But I will tell you this, if he accepts the fact that, hey, man, there were things that, over the last couple of years, both in Seattle and in Denver, that I wouldn't allow, coaches to correct me on, or I didn't do. And if he looked at the shortcomings, because he's always talked, and I've talked to him a ton of times about his legacy and, being a great winner and all the different things that he wants to accomplish. And I think the biggest thing is you have to be willing to look at yourself critically and say, hey, man, these are some things I can't do, or I don't do well. You can always work to improve upon those things, but here are some things I don't do well, and accept those, and then lean into your fastball. And that to me is part of being a really good NFL player, and to understand those things. And so, hopefully he took the tough lessons of the last couple of years, because there's no way you can go through what he went through the last couple of years. And, and hopefully, there's no way, I don't think, that you can go through what you went through the last couple of years and come away there and not take some responsibility for how things went. And if he did that, and it certainly looked like he did, then that's awesome.
Mark, I'm wondering, too, if you, I guess, think that there's a better on-the-field Wilson still out there, because if I were going to nitpick, I would say, Pickens just went up. He made a helmet catch, basically. He made a one-handed catch. Freiermuth made a one-handed catch. When he's been at his best, Wilson, as a player, is he hitting those shots for touchdowns because he's actually leading the guy? Do you think that there is a better version of him that we could see in terms of actual on-the-field play?
It'll be interesting, because it's an interesting question, and part of it is, I guess we'll see that, there have been times over the course of his career in Seattle, they played really tight games, and then at the end of games, he found ways to make these remarkable throws and to win games and big plays. And so you can go through all that stuff. You can go through the history of that. And that was there was times where he was really exceptional doing that stuff. And he was, for the majority of his Seattle career, I mean, he was really, really good. And so, yeah, do I see those things, and could he be better? Absolutely. I think there's no question. Again, some of those deep throws and a lot of that stuff comes off that play pass stuff. So a lot of that stuff comes off your ability to run the football, flag that out. You got a 2-man route out there, and, your ability to hit those deep shots. And like I said, that's one thing that I think he's always been exceptional. Even the last 2 years, if you look at his last 5 years, he is number 3 in the National Football League as far as 20-plus yard touchdown passes. And the 2 years in Denver were atrocious. I mean, they were really bad years. And not just him. I mean, that whole offense was horrible.
And he cut the sacks down last night too, Mark, which I know you've got to stop getting sacked, and he only got sacked one time.
Which, again, was big, but some of that comes out of, again, game planning. And here's what I would tell you, like some of the boot keep stuff, like right off the bat, the first play of the game, get him outside the pocket, boot keep dumps to the tight end, and it's a big play. That stuff is great. He is really good at all that stuff. He really is. And then it's just a matter of, are you willing to play the game that way? Are you willing to lean into your strengths?